Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the DC fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. We're continuing our Inktober series where I'm covering black and whites through the month of October. I was hoping to do this, but for all 31 days, but I don't think I'll be able to do it. I don't have that much black and white, but I don't have that much time to do 2 videos each day. So um, we'll just do what we can. Now, I'm gonna tell you something about The Dark Knight Strikes Again in its black and white form, which I ordered becomes Tom Scioli or something like that. He says he did a video on the Batman Noir issue, and I started looking at it because I hated the Dark Knight Strikes Again. I just hated it. But I'm gonna tell you something. Without the computer coloring, this actually looks really decent. So we are going to um look at it because it actually doesn't look that bad. So here's the cover to issue number 1, and it's funny how terrible that cover looks with Lynn Varley's computer coloring and how good it looks in just black and white. You're gonna be amazed at how good this whole thing looks in black and white. So I'm not going to read this. This has been covered by other channels. I'm just gonna let you look at the black and white art, and I gotta tell you, this looks so much better. You know, when I ordered this, you can get this off of Amazon, and I looked at it and I went, it's Tom Scioli. I apologize. Check out his YouTube channel. But I was like, this isn't that terrible when you look at it, and it's terrible in color. This thing is ugly, and it just I'm not saying the story is better, but I'm just saying that this doesn't look as terrible as it came out because it looks really neat in black and white. I think Frank Miller is better in black and white, or Frank Miller is better when you have a natural comic book coloring like Klaus Janson, like you're doing a straight up coloring. This thing in computer coloring is terrible. So this is the Atom in a petri dish. And so this is like 3 years after he's eating whatever it is. He's in a petri dish, like I said. Um and um yeah, so what do you guys think so far? I mean, this just looks so much better. Um in fact, now whenever I have the Dark Knight Returns the big, oh my gosh, the big edition, but it also came with this sorry ass story included with it. So it's just one of those things that it came with it. But every time I'm going to look at the story, and it's not often a lot, but when I do, I get the black and white version. It actually looks so way better. So, and like I said, he was in a petri dish. So those were like little things. Now, this is the era of Frank Miller where I really started to say, I don't know, this dude is losing his mind. Um, and I've made videos about his current art style and why I don't like it. And this is the beginning, I think, of that um, horrendous art style of his. It still looks better than the colored version of this thing here. So isn't this a little bit more enjoyable than the computer generated coloring that Lynn Varley used. Um, I I think this would have been more tolerable for people if DC would have released it in black and white. This is nowhere near as good as the original. Sequels rarely are. I don't know why this is how he decided why the decisions he took to tell this. I don't know. A lot of people. This is one of the things that I don't like. Just an image. I understand it's a splash page, but just I don't know. And I know he's a minimalist, so he doesn't put in a lot of stuff. But um, anyway, um, the Frank Miller. So if you remember All Star Batman, I have never covered it, but other people have. A lot of people hate it. I love Jim Lee, so I put up with it because Jim Lee is drawing, and this is Superman here, and um, most people hate that story. I have covered for Inktober the oh my gosh, the one that's anti-Muslim, Holy Terror. So I have covered Holy Terror, which most people think that it's the worst thing he's ever done, and I'm like, well, throw this one in there too, because this thing is not very good. I don't understand if his art is devolving, meaning he is becoming a more simple guy. Mike Mignola is another guy who, if you look at his style, it is more simplified. I think that Mignola and Miller could be cut from the same cloth. However, Mignola still writes really well, and his art hasn't devolved to the point where it's ugly. Whereas I think Miller's art has reached that ugliness in there. I just don't like it. I have just covered as well for Inktober Ronin Book 2, which he threw half of it. And I don't know. Um, you know, art is subjective. I always tell people that. I don't have to like it. You can love it. I just tell you why that I don't like it and why I don't like it. But as I mentioned before, this is supposed to be Lex Luthor. Compared to, oh my god, it just, what the hell? Um, Much better than that colored uh version of it. I think this looks much better in black and white. I don't know, depending on how long this video goes, I may just do one part. Maybe I'll do one part. I thought maybe I'd do all three, but because I'm going slower and these are like quadruple sized issues and he draws more panels than I thought. This is not too bad here. So anywho. So yeah, I think we'll just do one issue. So when it would, that'll give me something to do than the other days, because like I said, I don't have very much, and it's 3 issues, but they're like I said, they take place as much as the other ones. Um, so yeah, going back to Miller, I don't know, his writing is becoming as atrocious as his art. It's like, if you're gonna draw bad, then at least have your writing improve. But he's devolving in both. I don't know whether he's sick. I know he looks terrible. Um, Frank Miller has looked 80 years old for like the last 15 years. He's pretty private with that, so we can only assume that he's sick, because people don't tend to look that terrible just because. So I will assume that he is sick, and since he doesn't come out, deny it or whatever, I can just, people can just say, dude looks terrible. So I don't know whether that has something to do, but he's drawing a lot more doing a lot more covers with Marvel, and he did a 3-page piece with Deadpool Batman, which I went off on a video about how terrible I thought that thing was. So some people do not like me questioning Frank Miller because they still have Daredevil and The Dark Knight Returns and the first volume of Sin City. By the way, I am covering his Daredevil run currently. This is the other thing that bothers me. A whole wasted page with just this little image. All right. Anyway, so I don't know. Frank Miller's art has changed just too. It's too much. I just don't think it looks that good. Um, but he still gets paid a god smack of dollar bills, goobs and goobs and goobs. So, whatever. I'm just an opinion. It's not. It's like Robert Norton. He also has a YouTube channel that he hates Rob Liefeld, and people love that he hates Rob Liefeld. But Rob Liefeld, who cares, man? Guy's rich and successful, and what do we know, you know? But Rob Liefeld has a bunch of loyal um followers. That's just the nature of it. So we're just giving our opinion. I mean, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them. So who cares if I don't like Frank Miller's new stuff? It shouldn't affect your life. You can have a different opinion. This rock almost looks like a fist here and like a leg crossing and like an arm and another fist. It's actually kind of cool. It probably was unintentional, but it looks really cool. And then Wonder Woman. I still don't know what this story is about, honestly. I just don't. And I think we finally get Batman coming up here. So what do you guys think of it in the black and white? Does it pass muster? And so, or do you guys say no? This is just this terrible. Are these gloves, or did he just draw her hands black? I think it looks, like I said, this looks much better. Look at it in color, and then look at this, and then you can go, yep, looks much better. So I think if they would have, and there's Brainiac here who's teamed up with Luthor. Um, I think that if this would have been released in black and white, it would have. I'm not saying people would have loved it, but it would have been a little better. Because I actually think it looks much better in black and white. Although this pose, I don't care what how you put it. This looks, oh my god. Anyway, so some people don't like Frank Miller's Superman, his rendition of it. They're like, there's no way Batman would beat him, and actually agree with how Frank Miller did it. If Batman's gonna beat him, then you gotta cheat and have the kryptonite. But here's the truth: if Superman wants to go have a full heel turn, there's really no stopping him. So, because he can always kill Batman before Batman knows he turned heel. Like maybe he should be the first guy to kill him. So this is what I mean. It just, I don't know. Oh, this looks so ugly. But it's still better in black and white. So, here we go. Finishes beating up Superman, who just looks just terrible. And there's gonna be another section where he is giving in into the blacks, and you can't even tell because it just he leaves no room. So, like here, look at that. That just God. I'm done talking. Get out of my cave. And so this ends part one here. So, which is the same image as the cover. So, what do you guys think of the art? We didn't go through the story. Go through the story on your own. I'm not reading this garbage, even in black and white, as much as the art. Like I said, the art is more tolerable in black and white, but you know, whatevs. It's still, I don't know. But what do you guys think? Have you guys looked at this in black and white? This is the first video that is covering this in white and black and white, because I know a lot of people are have this stuff out. So go to, if you want to know what the story was about, go to some other YouTube channel that'll cover. I just don't care. I just wanted to look at the black and white art and and I think this would have been, like I said, more tolerable. So, Dark Knight Strikes Again, Part 1, written and drawn by Frank Miller. Like and subscribe. I do thank you so much for listening.